Hello, my name is Jared Dorfman. I'm here with Simon Lassel from KS Attorneys at Law. We're here today to discuss foreclosures, debt collectors, and your rights. So Simon, if I have debt collectors calling me about my mortgage or my foreclosure, are there any rights to protect me from them?
Yeah, the Federal Trade Commission is the regulating body which enforces the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCA, which protects you from having debt collectors use unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices to collect money.
With this act, Simon, what debts are covered?
The act basically covers most household debt. It'll cover your auto loan, it'll cover your mortgage, it'll cover basically any debt which is not coming from a business. So if you have a business, you'll be fine, but all mortgages are covered under this.
So Simon, can a debt collector call me at any time or any given place?
Well, Jared, the FDCPA states that a debt collector can only contact you at a time which is convenient. So generally, they may not contact you from earlier than 8 in the morning or later than 9 in the evening.
So Simon, is there any way to stop these calls from coming in or to stop a debt collector from calling me?
Well, Jared, a debt collector can contact you about your debt. That is generally in every obligation. It's bound to happen. But what you can do in order to get them to stop contacting you is to write them a letter which is certified mail, letting them know that you dispute the debt, but that you'd rather not contact with them over the phone. What this does is it doesn't make the debt go away, but what it can do is it can stop the phone calls. But what will happen in the end is they will file a suit against you. And before that happens, you should either contact an attorney or look at your rights.
So Simon, in knowing that, can a debt collector contact anyone else besides me?
A debt collector or somebody who's looking to collect your mortgage, they can contact you or your attorney, generally, if you have a case. But unless you actually give them the name and address of either your employer, your work, or somebody else who's co-signing for the loan, they're not allowed to contact anybody else besides the person listed in the mortgage.
Simon, can a debt collector keep calling me if I believe that I do not owe any money to them?
Well, Jared, if they do not give you a validation notice within 5 days, they have to stop contacting you. However, if they do give you a validation notice, you can still contest the debt within 30 days. However, if they've verified the debt as it being valid, they can still continue to keep contacting you even though you don't believe you actually owe it.
In knowing this information, what are the practices that are off limits to these debt collectors?
There are several practices which are definitely off limits, and you can go to the Federal Trade Commission's website in order to find the entire list. But in general, debt collectors, they can't use abuse, threats, they can't do a public shaming, whereas publish your name in public. Furthermore, they can't use trickery. They can't lie over the telephone to you, say that there's somebody else in order to get in contact with you. If you do happen to have any practices which you do think are extreme, you generally do have a good case. Another thing that credit collection agencies cannot do is list false things on your credit report. Something that you should be aware of in monitoring your credit is that debt collection companies can't simply slander your credit accounts simply because they claim you owe a debt which you may not owe.
Thank you, Simon, for taking the time out of your day to answer the general questions about foreclosures, mortgages, and debt collectors.
Thank you, Jared, for stopping by KS Attorneys at Law. I'm glad we could answer these questions for you.